The place was a dank hovel. It had the look of an old garage or warehouse, a low-slung, one-story joint that hadn't seen paint in years. There was a hand-painted sign under a lone spotlight on a rickety pole held in place by guy wires run to the roof. The sign said, Charlie's. The windows were swing-outs, and one of them was held open by a broomstick. Sounds from a jukebox and the garble of voices and the clink of glasses. And when they stepped through the door, the kids saw a plywood bar set up on old barrels and mismatched tables and chairs strewn haphazardly around the room. The lights were dim, giving the faces that turned to look them over a pall, as if they were shrouded by shadow, and the talk lowered. As the kid followed his father across the room, the weight of their eyes on him was like the feeling of being watched by something unseen on a mountain trail. His father strode through the room, merely flicking a wrist in greeting to those who spoke to him, and opened a door at the far end and stepped out onto a deck. It was suspended over the dark push of the river by huge pilings, and the kid could hear the hiss and gurgle of it from beneath the boards. There were propane heaters set around, and there were knots of men at the tables. His father walked to an empty table close to the railing and hauled a chair back and sat looking out over the water. The kid shook his head, and when his father still did not speak, he took his makings out and began to twist a smoke. He drummed his fingers on the table. After a moment he lit up and took a draw and looked out at the river streaming past like a long black train. When he turned back, he saw a tall, gangly man step through the door with a bottle on a tray and walk quickly to their table, set the bottle down, and then stand and look at his father, who continued to look at the river. "Twinkles," he said finally. "I'm right here. You still owe. I know. I'm good for it. You ain't working no more. I'm still good for it." The tall man looked at him and squinted and studied him a moment. The kid smoked and looked away. "How much?" he asked. "He owes 30, the man said. The kid put the smoke in the ashtray and dug in his pocket for the cash the old man had given him. He counted out $40 and handed them to the man, who looked at the bills as though they were foreign things. "Change?" he asked. "How much for the hooch?" "You can have it for the 10. "He wants to eat," his father said. "All's we got left is the chicken and some beans." "Put it on my tab." "I don't know, Eldon." "Hey, I made up what I owed." "Yeah." "Well?" The man set the tray down and folded the money and tucked it in his pocket. He looked at the kid, who finished his smoke, ground it out on the deck, and stashed the butt in his chest pocket. "You want a drink with that?" "Coffee," the kid said. "And you?" "I ate," his father said. He nodded and walked back across the deck, and the kid turned and looked at his father, who sat with his chin in one hand. "You're a treat, huh?" The kid smirked and put his feet up on the chair across from him. His father opened the bottle and raised it and took a couple of heavy swallows and set the bottle down and wiped at his mouth with the back of his hand. The plume from the stack downriver was like a ghostly geyser, and the lights of the mill all orange and hazed like a carnival lot. On the far shore, the town disappeared into the shadows thrown by the dim run of lights along the thin streets. The line of mountain was a black seam above it all. The man returned with his coffee. The kid drank and waited, feeling angry and impatient. His father was silent. For a while there was only the garrulous talk of the men in the background, the high arch of a fiddle on the juke, and the swish of the river beneath them. The coffee was bitter and hot, and he cradled the cup in his palms and watched his father. "So how come they call you Twinkles?" he asked. "It's bullshit."